Alan the Alien is known for his incredible strength, resilience, and his role as an ally to Mark Grayson. He is a member of the Unoban species, an alien race that was subjected to intense genetic experimentation by the Coalition of Planets. These experiments were designed to create a warrior capable of standing against the Viltrumites, as they are a brutal, empire-building species that seeks to dominate the universe. As a result of these enhancements, Alan possesses superhuman strength, speed, durability, and regenerative abilities that allow him to recover from fatal injuries. He is also capable of surviving in space without any form of protection, and possesses a highly developed intellect, making him both a formidable fighter and a strategic thinker. Born into a race that was nearly wiped out, Alan grew up understanding that his existence was meant to serve a larger purpose. He was one of the very few Unopans to survive the Viltrumite Purge, and the Coalition of Planets, a multi-species alliance dedicated to resisting Viltrumite expansion, took him in and further trained him as a warrior. Initially, Alan's main mission involved scouting and assessing potential threats to the Coalition, and this led to his first encounter with Invincible, whom he initially mistook for a Viltrumite. After a brief but intense battle, Alan realized his mistake, and the two quickly formed a strong bond based on mutual respect and their shared opposition to the Viltrumites. Throughout his life, Alan has maintained deep ties with the Coalition of Planets, and he worked under Thetis, a rebel Viltrumite who sought to dismantle his own race's empire from within. Over time, Alan rose through the ranks and became a crucial figure in the fight against Viltrum. His battles with the Viltrumites often left him gravely injured, but thanks to his advanced physiology, he repeatedly recovered, emerging stronger each time. Eventually, he even assumed the leadership of the Coalition, overseeing its military strategies and diplomatic affairs. Despite Alan's dedication to the war effort, he has shown a deep capacity for love and compassion, as seen through his romantic connection with an alien named Telia. Alan's journey is defined by resilience, loyalty, and a commitment to justice, making him one of the most beloved characters in the series. Adam Eve, whose real name is Samantha Eve Wilkins, is one of the most powerful superheroes in Invincible. She possesses the ability to manipulate matter at a molecular level, allowing her to alter the structure of objects, create constructs, heal wounds, and even modify her own body for enhanced strength and durability. Unlike many other heroes whose powers are limited to physical strength or energy projection, Eve's abilities make her one of the most versatile and potentially godlike beings in the universe. However, she has self-imposed moral boundaries and refuses to use her powers to alter living beings, believing it to be unethical. Speaking of her abilities, she was not born with them naturally, but they were instead the result of a secret government experiment conducted by a shadowy organization. Unbeknownst to her, she was meant to be a weapon, but before the government could take control of her, she was adopted by a suburban family who raised her as their own. Unfortunately, her upbringing was far from ideal, as her adoptive father was emotionally distant and dismissive of both her intelligence and abilities, leading to a strained relationship that continued into her adulthood. Despite this, Eve found purpose in using her powers to help people, which eventually led her to join the Teen Team, a group of young superheroes. During her time with the Teen Team, Eve fought alongside other heroes, including Dupli-Kate, Splode, and later Invincible. She initially had a romantic relationship with Rex, but after discovering that he cheated on her, she decided to break up with him. This emotional betrayal led her to question her path as a superhero, and she ultimately decided to leave the team. Instead of continuing to fight traditional supervillains, she chose to use her powers for humanitarian efforts, such as providing food, shelter, and medical aid to those in need. Eventually, she gets into a relationship with Mark Grayson, whom she initially viewed as a close friend and ally. Over time, their bond deepens and they fall in love, leading to them being in a happy and committed relationship in the current season of the show. Eve's journey is defined by her desire to make real change in the world, proving that heroism isn't just about fighting, but it's also about using one's abilities to make life better for others. Cecil Stedman is a key figure in Invincible, serving as the director of the Global Defense Agency, the world's most powerful government-backed organization, tasked with overseeing superhuman activities. As a highly intelligent leader, Cecil operates in the shadows, making difficult decisions to protect humanity, often at great moral cost. Unlike superheroes who rely on brute strength, Cecil's power lies in his ability to strategize, manipulate, and plan for contingencies that others would never consider. He spent decades in government service, climbing the ranks through his intelligence, ruthlessness, and commitment to global security. At some point in his career, he was severely injured, leaving him with a disfigured face. Rather than attempting to hide it, he wears his scars openly, symbolizing his willingness to endure suffering for the greater good. His experiences have hardened him, making him skeptical of idealism and more willing to take extreme measures to prevent catastrophe. Cecil's primary responsibility is to manage Earth's superhuman assets and respond to extraterrestrial and supernatural threats. He initially places trust in Omni-Man, believing him to be Earth's greatest protector, although he was also skeptical of him as well. However, when he uncovers the truth about Omni-Man's Viltrumite heritage and his ultimate betrayal, battle, Cecil is forced to adapt quickly, orchestrating an emergency response that includes deploying experimental weapons, summoning other superheroes, and using any means necessary to stop him. Despite his often cold and calculated demeanor, Cecil has a strong sense of responsibility towards the people under his command, specifically Invincible. While he often manipulates Mark, pushing him into dangerous situations, he also genuinely wants him to succeed and survive. He sees Mark as Earth's best hero against future threats, especially the looming danger of the Viltrumite Empire. Cecil operates in a morally gray area, making decisions that many would consider unethical for the sake of global stability. He is willing to work with monsters, use deadly weapons, and keep dangerous secrets if it means preventing a greater catastrophe. In a world of gods and monsters, Cecil is the man in the middle, doing whatever it takes to keep humanity alive. The Immortal is one of the oldest and most resilient superheroes in Invincible, known for his superhuman strength, speed, endurance, and most notably, his inability to die by conventional means. As his name suggests, he has lived for thousands of years, surviving fatal injuries that would have killed any normal person. His body is capable of regenerating from extreme damage, and while he can be incapacitated, he always eventually recovers. This longevity has allowed him to witness and participate in many of history's greatest events, shaping his perspective on heroism and leadership. The Immortal's origins trace back to ancient times, where he was once a warrior in early human civilization. Over the centuries, he has taken on many identities, some of which include historical figures and legendary warriors. He has fought in wars, led armies, and even ruled as a king at certain points in history. His powers appear to be the result of an unknown event or supernatural force that granted him his regenerative abilities, though the exact nature of his immortality remains a mystery. Throughout modern history, the Immortal has been a key figure in superhero organizations, most notably the Guardians of the Globe. As a long-standing member and leader, he has dedicated his extended life to protecting Earth from threats, both terrestrial and extraterrestrial. His experience and wisdom makes him a natural leader, and he is highly respected by other heroes. However, his time with the Guardians was tragically interrupted when Omni-Man, his supposed ally, brutally killed him along with the rest of the team. Despite being torn apart in battle, the Immortal later revived, proving once again that his name is not just for show. The Immortal has had countless relationships throughout his long life, though many have ended tragically. His extended lifespan means he has outlived almost everyone he has ever loved, leaving him with a sense of isolation that few can only truly understand. Despite this, he remains committed to his duty, always returning to the fight regardless of how many times he falls. His resilience, both physically and emotionally, defines him, making him one of the most interesting heroes in the show. Splode, whose real name is Rex Sloan, is a cocky yet skilled superhero with the ability to charge inorganic matter with explosive energy, making it detonate on impact. His powers allow him to turn everyday objects, such as coins or pebbles, into deadly weapons, and he possesses enhanced agility, strength, and durability from extensive training. Though he can often be impulsive and hot-headed, Rex is a capable fighter who relies on both his powers and hand-to-hand combat skills in battle. Rex's upbringing was far from ideal, as he was born into a poor family, and he was taken in at a young age by a secret government program that saw potential in him. The government trained him to become a living weapon, pushing his body to peak human condition and enhancing his natural abilities through extensive physical conditioning and combat training. While this gave him the skills needed to be a superhero, it also deprived him of a normal childhood, leaving him with deep insecurities that he often masks with arrogance. As a young adult, Rex became a member of the teen team, and his time with them was marked by both success and controversy, as his immature and sometimes reckless behavior often caused friction with his teammates. After cheating on Adam Eve with Dupli-Kate, it weakened the teen team, causing friction between the members. Despite his personal flaws, Rex remained committed to heroism and was later recruited into the new Guardians of the Globe. Over time, he began to mature, proving himself to be a reliable and effective member of the team. Though his impulsive nature never fully disappeared, he learned to work better with others and became a more disciplined hero. His loyalty and willingness to put himself in danger for his teammates gradually earned him the respect of his peers, and while Splode started off as a self-centered individual, his experiences in battle and personal relationships forced him to grow. Beneath his cocky exterior lies a person who genuinely wants to do good, even if his methods and personalities sometimes get in the way. Omni-Man, whose real name is Nolan Grayson, is one of the most powerful and complex characters in Invincible. As a member of the Viltrumite race, he possesses immense strength, super speed, near invulnerability, and the ability to fly. His endurance allows him to survive in space, and his accelerated healing makes him nearly impossible to kill. Unlike many superheroes, he was born with his powers due to being part of the Viltrumite race, which is one of the most feared and dominant species in the universe. Nolan was sent to Earth under the pretense of being a benevolent protector, but in reality, his mission was to weaken the planet for eventual conquest by the Viltrumite Empire. The Viltrumites are a brutal, expansionist species that conquer planets to add to their growing empire, and Nolan was expected to prepare Earth for this goal. Over the years, he built a life on Earth, becoming a beloved superhero and starting a family with Debbie Grayson, a human woman who believed in his noble intentions. Together, they had a son, Mark Grayson, who would later become Invincible. For most of Mark's life, Nolan played the role of a devoted husband and father, raising his son with the expectation that he would one day develop Viltrumite powers. However, when Mark finally gained his abilities, Nolan revealed the dark truth about his mission. In a brutal confrontation, he attempted to convince Mark that humanity was insignificant and that ruling Earth was their destiny. When Mark refused, Omni-Man beat him nearly to death in one of the most devastating moments of the series. However, despite his years of indoctrination, Nolan could not bring himself to kill his son. Overwhelmed by emotion, he abandoned his mission and left Earth. While he was initially loyal to the Viltrumite cause, his experiences on Earth changed him, leading to inner conflict about his identity and purpose. Over time, he sought redemption, attempting to make amends with Mark, and ultimately turning against the Viltrumites. His relationship with Debbie was permanently damaged, though his love for his family remained one of the few genuine aspects of his life. Omni-Man's story is one of power, betrayal, and redemption, making his character one of the most fascinating and beloved in the entire franchise. Mark Grayson, better known as Invincible, is a half-human, half-Viltrumite superhero who inherits incredible abilities from his father, Omni-Man. Mark possesses superhuman strength, speed, durability, and the ability to fly, and his Viltrumite physiology grants him enhanced healing and near invulnerability, allowing him to withstand extreme levels of damage. Over time, as he trains and experiences real combat, his powers grow stronger, making him one of Earth's most formidable protectors. Mark grew up in a seemingly normal household, raised by his human mother, Debbie, and his father, Nolan, who was secretly the powerful Viltrumite warrior Omni-Man. For most of his life, Mark idolized his father and dreamed of becoming a hero like him, and his powers did not manifest until he was a teenager, at which point Nolan began training him to use his abilities. Initially, Mark was eager and optimistic about becoming a superhero, balancing his school life, friendships, and relationship with Amber Bennett while taking on increasingly dangerous threats. However, Mark's world was shattered when he learned the truth about his father. When Mark refused to join him, his father brutally beat him nearly to death, attempting to break his spirit and force him to accept Viltrumite dominance. Despite the overwhelming power difference, Mark refused to yield, resulting in his father to leave Earth. Following this traumatic event, Mark struggled to find his place in the world, and he eventually joined the new Guardians of the Globe and formed strong bonds with fellow heroes like Adam Eve, who later became his romantic partner. Unlike many heroes, Mark's journey is filled with brutal consequences, forcing him to confront moral dilemmas and the harsh realities of being Earth's protector. He faces constant threats from villains, extraterrestrial invaders, and the danger of the Viltrumite Empire. Despite his hardships, Mark remains committed to protecting Earth and forging his own path, separate from his father's legacy. His journey is one of resilience, growth, and the challenge of living up to the name Invincible, even when the world repeatedly proves that he is anything but. Oliver Grayson is the half-brother of Invincible, as he is the son of Omni-Man and a Thraxan woman, making him part Viltrumite and part Thraxan. Like Mark, Oliver possesses superhuman strength, speed, durability, and flight due to his Viltrumite heritage. However, because of his Thraxan lineage, he matures at an accelerated rate, developing both physically and mentally much faster than a human or full-blooded Viltrumite. This rapid aging causes him to struggle with emotional and social development, making him more impatient and pragmatic than his older brother. Oliver's upbringing is significantly different from Mark's, as after Nolan abandoned Earth, he found refuge on the planet Thraxa, where he fathered Oliver. When Nolan later fled the Viltrumites, Mark discovered Oliver and brought him back to Earth, where Debbie Grayson reluctantly took him in and raised him as part of the family. However, Oliver's alien physiology and accelerated growth makes it difficult for him to fit in with human society. He quickly develops a strong sense of justice, but often clashes with Mark over their differing views on morality. Unlike Mark, Oliver has a more ruthless approach to crime fighting, believing that villains should be permanently eliminated rather than giving them chances to reform. As he grows older, Oliver adopts the superhero identity of Kid Omni-Man and trains under Mark's guidance. However, his willingness to kill enemies created tension between them, as Mark believed in a more traditional, moral approach to heroism. Despite this, Oliver remains determined to prove himself and seeks to forge his own legacy, separate from both Mark and their father. He struggles with the weight of his heritage, torn between his father's violent legacy and his brother's ideals. His unique perspective and willingness to challenge traditional heroic ideals make him a compelling and sometimes controversial figure in the show, adding depth to the ongoing conflict between Viltrumite power and human morality. Monster Girl, whose real name is Amanda, possesses the ability to transform into a powerful beast with immense strength and durability. Her unique power comes with a severe drawback, as each transformation causes her physical body to age in reverse. This curse has left her perpetually trapped in the body of a preteen girl, despite her true age being much older. Amanda's powers originated from a magical curse when she was in her 20s, as she was cursed by her significant other's grandma, who disapproved of their relationship. Due to her physical physically regressing, she is emotionally burdened, especially when she is treated like a child, since she is a fully grown and mature adult. This curse has severely impacted her ability to form personal relationships and live a normal life, and as a result, Amanda often displays a cynical, no-nonsense personality, likely developed from years of frustration with how others perceive her and treat her. This frustration is especially apparent in her interactions with teammates, where she is often underestimated or patronized due to her youthful appearance. She forms a close friendship with Robot, who takes a special interest in her condition. Their relationship deepens as Robot sympathizes with her struggle of being trapped in a body that does not reflect her true self, as that is exactly what he is going through as well. This mutual understanding leads to a heartfelt connection between them, and despite her tough exterior, Amanda deeply longs for a life where she can be seen and treated as an adult. Her condition forces her into constant struggle with identity, aging, and acceptance, making her one of the more tragic and complex characters in Invincible. Robot, whose real name is Rudolph Rudy Connors, was initially introduced as a highly intelligent and efficient artificial intelligence operating a robotic body, but it is later revealed that Robot is merely a proxy for Rudy, a severely damaged man with an extraordinary intellect. Born with a genetic disorder that left his body weak, underdeveloped, and incapable of surviving outside of a specialized containment unit, Rudy relied on robotic bodies to interact with the outside world. Despite his physical limitations, Rudy's genius allowed him to design and control an army of robotic drones, granting him a form of mobility and power. These robots give him enhanced strength, agility, and durability, as well as access to advanced weaponry and tactical knowledge. However, his true power lies in his intelligence, as he is one of the most brilliant minds in the world, capable of engineering highly sophisticated technology, cloning, and genetic modifications. Rudy was originally affiliated with the Global Defense Agency and led the reformation of the Guardians of the Globe after the original team was slaughtered. As the team's leader, his calculated approach made him an effective strategist. However, his methods often lacked emotional depth, causing some teammates to question his true motives. His most personal and ethically questionable endeavor was the creation of a new, fully functioning human body for himself. To achieve this, he secretly harvested the DNA of Splode and created a perfect clone to transfer his consciousness into, thereby freeing himself from his disabled form. A major aspect of Rudy's character is in his relationship with Monster Girl, and he develops deep feelings for her as they share a unique bond. Though his actions disturb some of his teammates, his ultimate goal was to be with Amanda as an equal. Despite his brilliance, his greatest struggle is not defeating villains, but finding acceptance, love, and a sense of belonging in a world that has never seen him as normal. Dupli-Kate, whose real name is Kate Cha, is a superhero with the ability to create multiple copies of herself. Her powers allow her to generate independent duplicates that share her consciousness, making her a formidable force in combat, surveillance, and tactical operations. Each duplicate can function autonomously, but when they are destroyed, she experiences the pain and trauma of their demise, making her abilities both a gift and a burden. Despite her power, she is still vulnerable, as her true body can be harmed like any other human. Kate comes from an Asian American family, and she grew up balancing her personal life with her superhero responsibilities alongside her brother. Her duplication powers stem from a supernatural Chinese curse that was placed upon her family, making the origins of her powers one of the most unique in the show. She honed her skills over time, using them to become an effective crime fighter and eventually joining the teen team. While working with the teen team, Dupli-Kate proved herself as a capable fighter, though she often had to deal with the immaturity and drama within the group. She ended up having a romantic endeavor with Splode, but that did not last long due to Rex being a liar and a cheater. After the teen team disbanded, Dupli-Kate was recruited into the new iteration of the Guardians of the Globe, where she continued to serve as a valuable member. Here, she meets the Immortal, and they are currently in a happy relationship in season 3 of the show. Despite her challenging experiences with relationships and the physical pain associated with her abilities, Kate remains committed to heroism. She understands the risks that come with her powers, but embraces them in service of protecting others. While she may not be as physically powerful as some of her allies, her strategic mind and ability to be in multiple places at once makes her an essential member of the group she is a part of. Bulletproof is known for his enhanced strength, durability, speed, and flight, and as his name suggests, he is nearly invulnerable, able to withstand extreme physical trauma, including high-impact bullets and powerful energy attacks. His superhuman endurance makes him an effective frontline fighter, capable of taking massive damage while continuing to battle. Bulletproof's backstory is less explored than some of his fellow heroes, but it is known that his real name is Zandale Randolph. Before becoming a superhero, he was an ordinary human who gained his powers through unknown means. He initially lived a relatively normal life, attending college and pursuing a career in art, but eventually deciding to use his abilities for heroism. He first emerged as a hero working independently, fighting crime and making a name for himself, and eventually, he was recruited into the Guardians of the Globe, where he became a key member of the team. Unlike more of the reckless or emotionally driven heroes, Bulletproof maintains a calm and professional demeanor, focusing on the mission at hand rather than personal conflict. Alex. Though he may not be as powerful as some of the other heroes, his resilience and dedication makes him a crucial part of the Guardians of the Globe. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. Comment down below your thoughts on any of the characters I discussed in this video, and subscribe if you would like to see a part 2 or more videos like this one. Thank you again, and goodbye.